No one is coming to save us. We can no longer rely on the three pillars of our society that we've relied on for many years. Corporations. Believe it or not, corporations have been historically democratic because they understand that a democracy is where they actually profit. But now corporations own so many things. They're involved in building rockets, and they're involved with the federal government, and they own newspapers. They own so many monopolies. They own so many different entities that it's becoming unsustainable. The legacy media, they're no longer going to help us. They are owned by corporations that are beholden to the federal government for a variety of different reasons, whether they have government contracts or they get subsidies from other businesses that they own. You know, we all were so excited about Disneyland. Remember Disneyland fighting Ron DeSantis? We were like, yes, Disneyland, you go. Well, see how fast that fizzled out. The government holds the power to Disneyland. And as powerful as they are, they cannot maneuver and fight the government they can't just up and like walk away from where they are. I mean, that's just not going to happen. So they have to kneel. They have to yield. But the investigative journalists, the ones that are out there getting the stories, that live on, crumbs, that are not billionaires and millionaires, the ones that are just, their stories and the accuracy of their stories are how they eat. So finding these investigative journalists and reading, like The Guardian and Independent News, and watching like the Midas Touch and Politics Girl and Brian Tyler Cohen and all of these independent YouTubers who bring receipts, bring facts, show you the documents. And still, you should research it, then too. But it's so much easier to research things now. So it's so important that we not rely on the legacy media because they're not there for us anymore. And obviously, as you can see, our government officials, unfortunately, were unable to do what they needed to do. They were too busy fighting each other, trying to get Joe Biden to step down and bashing Joe Biden and not understanding really what we're up against, that the seriousness of what we're up against. And so those three tenets of our democracy are no longer there. So the point is that nobody's coming to save us. So it's up to us. It's up to us. This is a ground game now, and we need to get in the fight, all of us. And I know we're tired, and I know we're exhausted, and I would say that it's okay to take 6 months and figure out how we're going to move forward. I would even say, to do an audit of how we got here, because I think that it's a big mistake to not have those conversations. So knowing that no one's going to come save us, we need to also identify the systemic failures in our processes and our single issue voters and our rigged democracy. If we don't identify what we're up against, we're not going to be able to actually do anything about it. Okay, let's move on. We are dealing with the misinformation, disinformation. You've got wealthy billionaires, you've got anti-government, anti-establishment, people who want power and control. You've got foreign adversaries. You have a lot of very powerful, wealthy people that are coming from all different avenues, not just the Republican Party. In fact, I would like to challenge everybody to think about something. It used to be the Democrats, right? Remember, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. The Democrats used to be the ones on the wrong side of history. Now it's the Republicans. It could very well in 50 years be the Democrats. Enemies of the country will infiltrate any party that gives them a seat at the table. And it is up to all of us, Republicans and Democrats, to understand what's happening and to understand that this disinformation, misinformation campaign is set up to keep us at each other's throats. As long as we're blaming each other, then we have no energy left or time left to blame the people who are actually at the helm and steering the ship. But we have to find a way to engage. We have to find a way to have these conversations with our family members, with our friends, with our coworkers, without upsetting them. So find your technique, like what is your strength, and then use that to get out there and talk to people. Understand both sides of it. Understanding both sides, like where they're coming from, helps you understand how to negate their argument. Realize what works and doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, then try a different way and try a different way. And don't be afraid to have those conversations with people. As long as you stay respectful and not aggressive and ask questions and say, well, did you think about this? Or have you ever thought about that? Or did you read this? I mean, but at least we're going to reach some people. Some people will be reached. Some people who just are not getting the information will be reached. And that's where we need to go with it. So remember, nobody's coming to save us. It's up to us. It's a ground game now, and we've got this. Talk to you later.